The Orbital Pathfinder can essentially be whatever shape you want it to be. And if this mouse had existed earlier, I could have saved myself thousands of dollars and a whole lot of time trying to find my endgame shape. I can't really count the number of times I would research a mouse, buy it, wait for it to ship, open it up, hold it, and immediately know that it wasn't what I was looking for. I'd stick to it for a while to give it a fair go, but the result was always the same. Eventually, the G303 Shroud Edition was released, and while it's a love it or hate it kind of shape, it ticked a lot of the right boxes for me. The sides angling toward the front and angling down gave your fingers a lot of purchase and control. The middle divider and mouse tube being thin and inset from the edge meant I could do something I call ridge clicking, which lets me grip the mouse with my index and middle finger so they can help aim and control the mouse and still only actuate the buttons when I want them to. I mained this mouse for 4 years, and I tried plenty of times to dethrone it with new contenders, and all of them failed until the Orbital Pathfinder came along. That should show you just how special this mouse can be. Through its modularity, you can construct your own optimal shape, and if you don't know what that is yet, you can essentially try hundreds or thousands of different shapes all with one mouse. When they sent me an early test unit a while back, I remember one of the first remarks I had was that in the first 30 minutes experimenting with it, I had effectively held more mice in that little window than I had in my entire life. That's kinda crazy. I have reviewed an earlier version of this mouse before, so I'll only quickly go over how it works here. If you want a more in-depth look into the specifics, you can check out that video below. These are clawmates. They're not a part of the Pathfinder. They're a separate mouse mod that I make, which I'll touch on at the end. The mouse itself is a thin core with very low mouse 1 and 2, which is great. It's usually white or black. If you see purple around, that's from the first Founders Edition. And in the current batch, you can choose to add on this orange color shell and gunmetal scroll wheel if you like. In the box, you get left side pieces, right side pieces, different humps, spaces to increase the width of each of those parts, differently sized buttons, and a selection of mouse skates, and of course the cables and wireless dongle. Each piece has a corresponding letter, and each spacer has a corresponding value, which can be used to track and share which configuration you are using. For example, I play on CCR-022, which is left-right hump, and then the space is for left-right hump. No spacer is 0, thin is 1, and wide is 2. So that's claw with no spacer, claw with the wide spacer, and the right hand hump with the wide spacer. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the claw and right hand hump pieces were my main contribution to the design of this mouse. I'm not directly part of the team or anything like that, but they did reach out to a lot of people like me and really took our feedback on board. The claw pieces in particular have that narrowing toward the front and angle inwards to really give you something to grip into. The right hand hump is a game changer in my opinion. Whenever I talk about what I consider the optimal mouse grip to be, an important but tricky component of that is having your thumb knuckle gripping the mouse. This is often difficult to do with narrow, lightweight mice, and is why you always see me adding mounting tape to my mice to help fix this problem. Additionally, most mice have this gentle curve which is hard to grip into. The right hand hump protrudes out to the side to meet your thumb knuckle, and it has a mostly vertical face that is far easier to squeeze into than the humps of other mice. If you've ever struggled with making claw style grips work, this hump could very well make you a believer. At this point, I feel fairly set in my ways and know what I want from my mouse shape, and I've configured the Pathfinder to essentially build a better G303. This side is too steep for the thumb, the sides curve back a bit too soon, the left hump is too angled and far away, it's too heavy at 75 grams compared to 57, and its atrociously low, unchangeable lift-off distance is incredibly frustrating for a mouse so clearly designed for claw grips. I'm able to fix all of these issues, which after 4 years of using the same mouse is such an awesome upgrade for me. That being said, I have been experimenting with some shorter setups using the high hump and aggressively fingertip skating that I think could have some potential, but I need some more time with it. I only really have one main criticism for the mouse. Mostly I have suggestions and things I like to see added in the future. I know it's a niche criticism, yet it matters to me and my aiming, and that's not having a divider between mouse 1 and 2. I can ridge click with my middle finger using the shelf from the wide spacer, which is awesome. I can't do that on many mice. There's just no way to do it with my index finger as well. Considering the modularity of the mouse, it would also be nice to modify the sensor orientation through its software like you can on new Razer mice and on the AimLabs mouse, rather than using raw Excel. I think a natural next step is also providing a way to physically change the sensor position, which would be amazing, and I would have so much fun experimenting with that. And finally, having a greater range of attachments, be it via the main box or add-ons, and even being able to print your own pieces. I use clawmates instead of these pieces with built-in protrusions because I can be far more specific about their exact placement. It feels weird talking about my own product when reviewing someone else's product, so the main reason is simply that moving a grip forward or backwards a couple of millimeters, or up or down, or changing the angle by a few degrees can make a huge difference as to whether it feels amazing or terrible. I went into this choice in more detail in my last Pathfinder video, so you can watch that to get the full context if you like. If the Pathfinder is of interest to you and you would like to support me, you can use the code STRUTH at checkout for a 2% discount. Huge thanks go out to the Orbital team for including me in the design process and sending me out this mouse. It even has Struth engraved on it, which is really special. They've made a seriously impressive product and brought some much needed innovation to a stagnating space. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one.